the Khrushchev kind of thing, isn't it? Right. I've got to get to this. That graphic, I'm going to use it again. There you go. No, that's not the graphic, but something. It's the GOP Game of Thrones, okay? Ted Cruz, John Kasich, they're joining forces to try to stop Donald Trump from getting to that magic number of 1,237 delegates. Here's what Trump tweeted in response, quote, "Lion, Ted and Kasich, they're going to collude in order to keep me from getting the Republican nomination. Desperation, all caps." He means it. Joining us, Georgette Marsbacher and Robert Jeffress. Robert, to you first. I said at the top of the show, have you ever seen anything like this before? I'm not sure I think we may have seen something like this before. What's your take on it?
Look, let's see what we have going on here. Cruz and Kasich both are mathematically eliminated from winning on the first ballot. They admit they can't win on the first ballot, and their only hope now is to stop the only candidate who can win on the first ballot, Donald Trump. I think, Stuart, this is distasteful to most Republicans. 66% of Republicans say they believe whoever comes to Cleveland with the most delegates and votes should win, and that would be Donald Trump. And I'm going to predict that if the establishment somehow wrestles this nomination away from Trump, even though the rules allow for it, I think you're going to see a massive boycott of Trump supporters in the general election. I'm not saying it should be that way, but I predict that's what's going to happen.
All right, Robert, you are a Trump supporter. Georgette Marsbacher is not an overt Trump supporter, although I think she's beginning to lean that way. Would you say that this is rigging, the candidates, not the party, but the candidates rigging things?
Well, I'll tell you what, rigging appears to be the new political word.
Yeah, it is.
I have to say I disagree to some degree. I think that this is all about the math. I understand what they're trying to do. They have to make sure that Trump does not get that 1237 on the first vote. I disagree. I think the Trump supporters want to win. They want to win the White House. And I think that they will coalesce behind whoever is picked. Now, wait, you think, I mean, the word rigging is being used widely. Trump supporters don't like the idea that anybody's going to rig things against them. And I don't think they'll show up for the rigged candidate if it's Cruz or Kasich. I don't think they will. You do? I have to tell you, Stuart, I disagree. I think they want to win the White House more then they will be angry at the rigging.
Robert, real fast, what do you say about that? That Republicans want to win above all else?
Look, the people Trump has energized are people outside of the Republican system, many of them. There are people who have sat on the sidelines in the last 4 to 8 years. They're coming into this because they're excited about Trump, and I think they're going to sit out. I think that's a very real possibility.
I'm going to stay on Trump for a moment. Now, he has said that he's going to tone it down, look more presidential. Didn't last through the weekend. He mocked Hillary all over again. Just roll that tape.
Being presidential is easy, much easier than what I have to do. Here I have to rant and rave. I have to keep you people going. Otherwise, you're going to fall asleep on me, right? If I was presidential, first of all, I'd have a teleprompter. You ever see crooked Hillary Clinton? She walks in. Good afternoon, Bridgeport. How are you? This is crooked Hillary Clinton, and people start yawning, leaving. The whole thing is a disaster. And she'll be a disaster as president.
I do have to tell you that everybody around this table was laughing at that, and I know that Robert is laughing. I can hear him. He's in Dallas, but I can hear him laughing all the way here. You have a personal story about changing the tone from Trump?
Yes, I do. Look, I've been with Trump in many different settings, and I can tell you he can moderate his tone according to the need of the moment. I remember after the last debate in Miami, in which he was so subdued, he said to me after the debate, "How did you like that, Pastor?" I was very presidential. He was laughing. And I said, "Well, why did you do that?" He said, "That's what was needed tonight, a spirit of unity." Trump can do whatever is necessary. And by the way, Stuart, that's what we want in a president. We want a president who uses one tone when he's dealing with the leaders of a nuclear Iran that is different from the tone he uses at a 4th of July picnic. That's not duplicity, that's wise leadership.
Georgette, what do you say about changing the tone?
You know, I think that Trump being Trump has gotten him this far. Who am I to say change your style? However, That same style has lost him women and Hispanics. I would say that just pulling it back a little bit wouldn't hurt him being who he is. He's got to get the negatives down if he's going to win this.
Okay. All right. We hear you on all. Let's move away from Donald Trump for a second, shall we?
Oh, no, do we have to?
I've got something on the migrant crisis. President Obama, now he was speaking from Hanover, Germany this morning, lecturing Germany, bring them in. That is, migrants, bring them in. And we should bring them in as well. Roll tape.
You start seeing those who would try to exploit these fears and frustrations and channel them in a destructive way. A creeping emergence of the kind of politics that the European project was founded to reject. An us versus them mentality that tries to blame our problems on the other. Somebody who doesn't look like us or doesn't pray like us, whether it's immigrants or Muslims, or somebody who's deemed different than us.
All right, Robert, your reaction first.
Look, as a Christian, I believe we ought to show mercy and compassion to those who are in need. But, Stuart, government has a responsibility, according to Romans 13, to protect its citizens. And our law enforcement officials have said we have no way to screen these migrants coming into our country. Government needs to protect its citizens. That is not unchristian. That is a biblical position.
Georgette Maasbach, a last word to you on this.
I do agree. It is the Christian position. However, it doesn't work. And consequently, they've got to figure out how they can bring these migrants in and not only screen them, but what about the jobs and what it's doing to their economy? I mean, it's great to take the high road. However, that high road has to have a path that makes it viable economically for the EU.
Elizabeth McDonald wishes to speak again.
Yeah, you know, there isn't a Department of Motor Vehicle in Syria that lets you track who these people are, or any of these other Middle Eastern countries. I think both Georgette and the good pastor are correct.
That wraps up that little bit.
Yeah.
I want to get to the